This week, we're talking about the coolest cars you can import in 2025 and the new cars we're most excited about, plus a Lamborghini Miura straight out of Midnight Club and a new transmission that might save us from the CVT. But first, it's a merger that's shaking the industry. Welcome back to the Big Three. We're back, baby, 2025. Happy New Year, everybody. I have a haircut. If this is your first time listening, we talk about the latest in automotive news every Wednesday, the three biggest stories of the week, the Big Three.
Big Three.
Get it?
I do.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Happy New Year. My name is Nolan Sykes. I'm joined this week by Stephanie Gutierrez and Bart Bidlingmeyer.
Hello.
What a last name, Bart.
Thanks.
I'm
Sorry, Stephanie. I'm married.
Joe and Max have crippling diarrhea. They'll be back next week.
Wash your hands.
Yeah. Yeah. You like that sign in our bathroom that says that warns you of all the different ways?
Well, it's all on the news. It's norovirus. There's people have stopped washing their hands, apparently.
You're not going to tell me what to do,
like
Bart.
my 6-year-old kid.
Is that a problem for your kid?
It's always like, did you wash your, like, he'll like go to grab something. I'll be like, look at your hands. He's like, what? And they are just black. And I'm like, you're going to wash. And so then what I've taken to is like, you know, my wife is a therapist and she has all these tools that you can use. And one of them for a child is to make it into a game. So I plug the sink and I say, let's see how dark the water gets. And he's like, yeah, that's a good. And then Dad, come. Yep, that's really dark, Oliver. Great job.
He's like, now we're talking.
That's right.
How was your guys' holiday break? It's been a while since we've been in the studio, by the way.
You want to go first?
You got a car running.
I did. I successfully completed my K24 swapped EG. So that thing is zooming around, zipping and zooming.
Nice. Driving, running, functioning.
It's kind of a bad thing though now, because now when like I drive anywhere near my city or my home, if I see any sort of like crappy car, I'm like, oh, you just wait till I get my Civic out. I'll go home right now. But no, it's dope.
You think that's crappy? Wait till I get my Civic out.
This is crappy and fast.
That's awesome. Pretty quick, pretty fast. Makes you want to break the law.
Oh, absolutely. Listen. Allegedly. There's a lot of little streaks from a one tire fire now.
Awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. And then Bart, you?
Yeah, it was good. Everything was great.
Nice.
I don't know what else. I had my kid's birthday. We went to Great Wolf Lodge, which is an indoor water park. Yeah, it's very loud.
Yeah, sounds like
we got about 2 hours into it, and I was like, I don't know if I can do much more of this. Yeah, it's also kind of reminds you why we're all wearing clothes most of the time. So there's that too. But it was fun. It was a great little time out. Take a day off.
Dude. Yeah, it's fun. Let's get into it. Let's talk about one of the bigger news stories that we missed because we were on break. A big rumor that got confirmed. News broke last month that Honda and Nissan are merging. And the big question on everyone's minds is why? You're a Honda freak now.
Oh, absolutely.
You actually, Steph, you have both a Nissan and a Honda. What is your initial reaction to this news? What's the first thing you think of when you hear that two of your most beloved brands are coming together?
So when I first heard the news that Nissan was going to go bankrupt, I got very depressed.
That's right. That's kind of like a month ago. Dude, last year feels so long ago now.
Yeah, it does.
But yeah, the news was Nissan was breaking up or bankrupt. They had like 6 months. Yeah, they had like 6 months left in the tank. Something had to change. Then the Honda rumor, and then now it's confirmed. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I am very happy because I'm like, oh, two platforms that I love and hold near and dear. But at the same time, I can't help but feel conflicted when I believe the president of Honda, when he did a press conference, and they were like, why are you doing the merger? And he was like, I don't know.
Not a clear answer from Honda's president as to what the benefits are for Honda.
Well, also, probably though, in his defense, he's thinking like, I have to explain economics to you, like, where do you want me to start here?
Right.
There's not a clear answer.
Yeah.
That's
I
true.
run a company.
Yeah, exactly. So why is this happening? Well, most news outlets believe it's to help both brands take on the rising threat of Chinese automakers. We also see that with Volkswagen, too. They're citing that as one of the reasons they have to shut down a few factories. There's also the fact that domestic rival Toyota is the world's best-selling automotive brand, and they teamed up with other Japanese rivals like Subaru and Mazda in recent years. It's also worth noting that some industry experts doubt that this will pay off. That's good. Like you said, Stephanie, when asked at the press conference why Nissan will make a good partner for Honda, Honda CEO Toshihiro Mibe is reported to have said, quote, "That's a difficult one. It's not a rescue."
No one asked if it was a rescue.
You can, yeah.
Yeah.
Nissan was at the shelter. People kept passing by.
Who rescued who?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
We took them home.
Who saved who?
Oh man.
I'd also say the Chinese electric EV market and production, and they have a solid foothold that we're just not aware of.
Yeah,
because we don't see them here in America.
Exactly.
But even just in Mexico, some of the leading cars that you see on the road are Chinese.
It's interesting going down there because you'll see brands like MG, where you're like, the British company? Well, now they're owned, I think, by a Chinese parent company, and they make like tiny little crossovers and hatchbacks and stuff.
Yep.
You see those down there a lot. Also,
a lot of Renault down there.
Renault, yes. Yep. Yeah, we don't get the Chinese EVs here because of the tariffs, the 100% tariff. And then, yeah, you go over to Europe, though, and you see they're pretty common, Chinese cars over there. So I understand it. Yeah, so one benefit that is clear is that Honda would get access to Nissan's robust European manufacturing network, something that Honda does not have. And rescue or not, it could be a lifeline for Nissan. According to Reuters, quote, Nissan announced a $2.6 billion cost savings plan in November that includes cutting 9,000 jobs and 20% of its global production capacity. I watched like a news story about this, like a local news piece from some affiliate, and they interviewed like a Nissan dealer, and he was clearly like super stoked about the news. And then I think they interviewed like some Honda or like a auto journo about Honda, and he was not as stoked about it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think like, look, I don't know business necessarily. I don't. But this isn't super uncommon.
No. But I think what's uncommon is that you haven't seen this from, leading, like, and with the reputation that they have for the different kinds of cars that they're known for making. Yeah. And you've always had, as far as like engines, and there are these 3 distinct categories of, well, I guess 4 if you're counting Subaru, but like who makes the best engine? Which one do you like better? And now it's this kind of merger is gonna, what does it do to those ideas of a brand? Yeah. I think is what's gonna be interesting. Because you've always had like, are you a Honda or a Toyota? Is usually that's the question.
Honda or Nissan.
Then now it's like, well, and then is it Honda or Nissan? Nissan are like, it's usually those two.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Which of these two companies are you loyal to? Yeah. And now that discussion changes.
Exactly. It's strange. It's like anyway, I was gonna come up with an example. I can't really think of any. There aren't that many American brands now. Like there were like 50 years ago. But it would be like if Plymouth was on a Chrysler.
Well, I mean, you do have Stellantis, and then the question. And remember when Ford bought Jaguar, and then they were like, "Well, these are Tauruses now." And so the question is, what's going to happen to those identities? Yeah, And I the thing I'm most excited about, and I told you this, is that my hope is this means Nissan's bumpers will stay on.
Yeah. I hope the Japanese stay very honorable in their like you saying their engine categories and stuff, because man, this could either be like, in my head I see this like, this could either be like super dope and it's gonna make both Honda and Nissan stronger, or it's just gonna be like how you said, they're gonna weirdly start blending in together.
Yeah, I mean, I think Nissan certainly has the most to gain right now, saves them from bankruptcy. Also, like, I mean, Honda, for me, Honda and Toyota are kind of like the prestige Japanese automakers. Nissan, I mean, we love their cars. Like the 350Z obviously is huge for us here at the channel, and
but they feel more niche.
They do feel
Yeah.
more niche, and also they've definitely fallen off. I mean,
If
that's
you've
evident.
ever-
They super fallen
Yeah.
off.
If it's not the top tier, and if you've ever had like when you get I just need a rental car.
Yeah.
And you get a Nissan, you're like, fuck,
Well,
man.
we drove an
this is
Altima.
not- come on.
Yeah. Well, we drove that Altima up to Car Week, and also honestly, oh no, it was a Maxima.
Mhm.
Wasn't that bad, to be honest.
Right.
I thought it was pretty
But
decent.
you're
yeah.
I think you're aware that it's not either a Toyota
Yeah.
or a Honda.
Yeah.
You're like, there is that
That's true.
element.
That's true.
You know what? But those like because it's either not a Honda or Toyota, it's perfect for
Right, and
Hispanic
that's what-
mothers like my own. They love Nissans.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Sentra,
Is her bumper on?
oh hell yeah. Her
Okay.
listen, her Sentra kicks ass.
Chloe had a Sentra.
They do move.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Chloe's Sentra. Everything was everything was falling off,
Mhm.
but it still ran.
Yeah.
That was fine.
So
So
matters.
So the companies plan to merge by 2026. The merger will create a roughly $54 billion company, making it the world's number 3 auto group by vehicle sales between Toyota and Volkswagen. Pretty awesome. Mitsubishi could be part of that deal as well, and they're set to make a decision by the end of the month.
They've all been on stage together.
Yeah.
Like, it seems,
Ah,
like
Yeah.
it seems weird if you'd be like, no, we'll still be Mitsubishi.
I mean, they need a little bit of a lifeline as well, too.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
to cap this off, what would be your dream car or platform to come out of this deal here?
If Mitsubishi joins, I'd like a Montero.
Ooh.
Oh.
Oh wow.
And then you could have, there'd be a lot of tech that you wouldn't normally get in one.
I think there's an Infinity that's. I think they might have a SUV that's body on frame. I think.
Yeah.
Body on frame Montero with the J35 V6 from Honda in there.
Oh.
Interesting. Steph.
Honda, take notes. I want to keep it classic. I really want them to come back kicking with like, some sort of not it doesn't have to be GTR, but if they could just do it in a performance division for Nissan again, that'd be so killer.
Yeah,
Some
because
sort of Nismo.
some sort of
Nismo.
Nismo.
Edge.
Yeah, I totally forgot about the GTR in this context. We've been hearing about the next GTR, the R36, for like years now, and I mean, Nissan just has not had the money
Mhm.
to make that a reality. So, if this kind of changes the tide a little bit and helps them out, maybe we could see that start to take shape.
Yeah.
So I was playing with this weird rubber. This thing feels very strange. Little rubber donut we have on our table.
It sweats.
It feels. I'm gonna put it over there.
It doesn't sweat. That's.
You go ahead and diddle with it then,
I am
but-
not gonna touch that.
Yeah,
thing.
don't
I've been told-
diddle it.
I've been
as
told it
Steph just
feels
said.
weird and it sweats.
Yeah,
I'm
it's-
not gonna touch it.
It's not good. It's not good.
Norovirus.
Let's move
Wash
on.
your hands.
If you're like us and sick of lifeless CVTs making their way into everything, well, there's hope for you. A new gear-based CVT called the Ratio Zero transmission was recently announced, and it stands to change the things about CVTs that most enthusiasts hate. 1, it can handle more torque without slipping, and 2, it's got mechanical instead of friction-based power transfer, which means it would be much less sluggish as well, and maybe able to handle some, off-roading. So like a CVT, the gear ratios in this transmission are infinitely variable, but in Ratio Zero's case, it can also be 0. According to the drive, the transmission itself can effectively idle without the use of a clutch or torque converter. I watched a little video both on Ratio Zero's website and some other sources on how this thing works, and I am in awe of people who can engineer
Who do that
things,
stuff,
because you
yeah.
watch it and you're like, what is even happening?
It looks nuts.
Yeah. So I can't even begin to convey the function of this thing through an audio format because I don't even understand. But basically, CVT with gears instead of a belt is what you need to know. They have I think a model that goes in like electric bikes. They've been doing that in like
Yeah.
the rear hub of a bicycle,
Mhm.
which makes a lot of sense, I think.
You'd be surprised at how much of this tech comes from washing machine clutches.
Washing machine.
Wow.
Yeah. Because you got to go from, you have a big heavy
Yeah.
load. This is a digression, but you
Okay.
got the load and you start from, back and forth.
Yeah.
So you've got dual action.
That's right.
And then you've got to start the spin cycle. So you've got to have a very low gear.
Yeah.
And then you've got to get up to speed pretty quick.
Man,
And you have to,
and
it
you
actually shifts.
Wow.
You put that thing into a Nissan Sentra, perhaps,
That's
and you
right.
better hope you don't have a big, bulky item in that transmission that's going to shake your car apart.
That's right.
We moved into a place that has a laundry machine after not having an in-unit
A
laundry,
laundry
machine.
machine?
Yeah.
That's a big step.
It was it's changed our lives. It's changed our lives.
Congratulations.
My whole mental outlook is like different now because we're not worrying about laundry.
It does suck to have to go do laundry.
Dude, it sucks. It's terrible. And
Speaking of transmissions, it sucks to have to shift to go
yeah,
change laundry.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Anyway,
My
I
mom's
think
Nissan to the laundromat, horrible. But it's because of the laundromat.
it feels on brand. I will say this is one of those texts where they said the same thing about CVT and the Porsche Doppelgang
DCT.
Yeah. But like I say this is going to be one of those things I don't want to get excited about until it's being driven.
It's,
You know what I mean?
this ratio 0 in particular is interesting because you go on their website and they're like crowdsource or crowdfunding to develop the transmission further. Which
You mean they're crowdfunding or are they crowdsourcing tech?
sorry, they're crowd surfing. They're crowdfunding.
Okay.
So which is kind of weird. Not weird. I don't know. It's just
I know you take it where you can get it.
I guess so. But it's strange that maybe a manufacturer hasn't.
There's
picked
not
it
a
up
larger
is all I'm saying.
benefactor.
Yeah. Right. That's what I'm saying. I've never like seen a crowdfunding drive for a transmission before. You know.
Do they have an OnlyFans?
Maybe they should
That's for the new cooling technology.
Yeah.
This
Yes.
is being OnlyFans.
Great. We got there. All right. As of
man.
now, the prototype is designed for smaller applications like bicycles, but engineers say the design is meant to be scaled for use in cars and motorcycles, which I think is like scooters. That would make sense.
It's kind of hard to describe that or like to explain it in a sense. I understand. I was reading up on it.
It's hard.
It is definitely hard because we know how CVTs operate, and I do see how these could be more efficient because it is a mechanical use of mechanical energy, I guess. Meanwhile, with a traditional CVT, you're relying on bands and stuff like
Friction.
that. So the friction
Yeah.
energy, right? So you're losing a lot of efficiency with that. But it's just kind of hard to say because we're not the people who designed it. We're not. I like to think that we're quite smart cookies, but
I have trouble rotating cubes in my mind's eye, so it's hard to even conceptualize what's going on here. Yeah.
Is that a condition? I've never known. I didn't. I've never been to the doctor. He's like, all right, close your eyes. Can you visualize a cube? Good. Just turn it.
Rotate it.
I
dude.
can't, Doc.
How many cubes can you rotate?
What's wrong
Bart?
with me? I can't rotate cubes in my mind. So,
oh my god.
what's exciting for me about this is like we've driven a couple like CVT off-roaders like the Crosstrek, which I think is actually pretty good. I mean, it's really light compared to other off-road cars, so you kind of just glide over everything. But you know, you put something in here where you can feel more confident that your transmission is not going to be slipping like with a CVT. I could see this being pretty cool, and like you know, if it's also as efficient or more so than your traditional CVT, like you kind of get the best of both worlds. You could put a really fuel efficient transmission and drivetrain like a nice little turbo 4-banger into an off-roader or something more strenuous and not worry about slippage, you know? And that's cool.
and I don't know why this took me so long, but you were talking about crowdfunding. It's like, why don't they have someone? But we're also talking about a world where the landscape of investing is, well, the cars that would use a CVT are going away.
Mm.
You know,
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
Yeah.
and for that reason, I think it is more of an
Oh, man.
enthusiast enterprise.
Right invention, maybe bad timing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
That is a pretty dope aftermarket like support though. If
Sure.
if it does come out and
If
it
you can make kits.
yes,
Mhm.
exactly, you know, because there are gonna be people that are gonna keep the older commuters that
Oh,
are
that's
phasing out,
interesting.
you know.
Yeah.
So what do you do then when your CVT
Mhm.
gets
Throw this
trashed?
thing in there. Yeah.
Exactly.
Interesting. Okay. I'm starting to come around on this.
Mhm.
Yeah. Thanks,
Cool.
guys. Japanese tuning company Liberty Walk is famous for its more extreme transformations of its street cars, but their recent work on a Lamborghini Miura might be their most crazy build yet. Let's take a look at this. If you're an audio listener, please look this thing up when you get a chance because it is insane.
Whoa.
Yep. That's a Miura with a body kit.
That looks very JDM.
It looks so I think it looks great.
It's amazing.
It looks really good.
I also think it's crazy to do that with a Miura.
I know. That's
Hats
like
off.
a multi-million-dollar car, right?
Dude, rich people just step out and they just do stuff.
They do.
And I love to
step out
see
and
it
do
because
stuff.
I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, so this thing's got a huge wing on the back with chassis mounted wing. This thing's slammed on its nards. It's got canards. It's got a big splitter, wide body kit. It's awesome. The concept looks great, and they're gonna debut this thing at the Tokyo Auto Salon pretty soon here. So we'll see some pictures, no doubt, and we'll probably see it on Larry Chen's YouTube channel
Can't
pretty
wait.
soon. So this thing is expected to be powered by the stock 345 horsepower V12. I like that. That's interesting. Keeping it classy, you know?
That is quite classy.
They should have VQ'd swapped it though, you know? So all you Miura owners listening will actually be able to buy this kit. So get your pre-order in right now, guys. All three of you listening.
I think it looks awesome. I think it's really cool. I think you'd be hard pressed, or maybe you'd be surprised, I don't know, to find a Miura. I don't think you buy a Miura to modify it. You know what I mean? I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm not saying
Yeah, I'm trying to think of
there's
like
the two classes of people who are like, I have so much money, I'm gonna do it because why not?
Mhm.
Doesn't matter. And then there are the people who are like, I've always wanted this thing and I'm
Yeah.
gonna keep it exactly the way it should be.
I think it's like kind of restrained actually, the design for Liberty Walk. They usually get pretty
Sure.
crazy.
Well, I think you have to be if
Yeah. That's true.
the car starts off priceless.
Yeah, to go off what you were saying, Bart, I kind of like that though.
Yeah.
I like because I feel like is this car dope by itself? Absolutely. Absolutely, right? And there's probably like a good amount of rich people already that have stock Miuras. But to the one super rich dude that's just like, I'm gonna do it. Shout out to him because now I get to see it.
I think it is very it's very poignant time. Not poignant time, but it's fitting for the time for this thing to come out in the right now. You know, like 10 years ago, it would have been like, this is sacrilege. Rah, rah, rah. The petrolicious people would be like, rah, rah, I don't like this.
People are still gonna say that.
People will say that, but I feel like nowadays,
thinking
like
it.
I think it's great. I don't think anything's
I think we just kind of like live in a world where it's it has never been so blatantly obvious that nothing is sacred that
Fair.
like why should we hold ourselves back from doing something like this, you know? Like I don't think
maybe for that very reason, Nolan.
maybe. Yeah.
I also just as a matter of thinking, is it I'm not sure which is harder or easier to do. Like if you can take a shitty car that is not really loved and you body kit it so people are like, holy crap, my mind is blown. Is it harder to do that to a shitty car or to a car that is already beloved for its aesthetics? You know what I mean? Like, I don't have the answer. Which one is a higher climb? Because there's different bars. Because it's like, the Miura's got a higher bar, and if you can pass that with a kit, hats off.
That's true. Yeah. I've always wanted to modify like a mid-2000s. It's either the Malibu or the Impala, the really weird like four-door hatchback thing that Chevy made.
Like the minute you say Malibu, I'm thinking
We're gonna
Goonmobile.
pause real quick. Yes.
That
Yeah.
is
Their
an ugly
aspect
little
ratio is a little
thing.
bit off.
Yeah, they're
for
longer
us.
than that.
Yeah, they are longer than that. They're more boxy than that.
Yeah, but that's the car. Yeah.
That looks
But like
gross.
honestly, but it does look gross. But if you drop it and you build it out, it's begging for
It'd be-
a rear wing there,
Yeah.
or at least a spoiler on the back.
Yeah.
Like, look, I think
What,
you
is that
could
a
make
little?
that
Is
pretty
that kind
sick.
of like a little duckbill right there? What is that?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. It'd be really easy to like JDM it.
Yeah.
Totally.
And it's an
Totally.
American.
Okay.
It's a Chevy.
Yeah.
I think you should do that, Nolan.
Yeah. Approved. The next build for Donut this year, the Malibu hatch.
Nobody asked for this.
Yeah.
Nothing's sacred anymore, Nolan.
Well, like I was saying, yeah, on that point, like I think there are two ways of thinking about it. It's like, okay, you can, if nothing is sacred and beloved, not franchises, beloved figures and franchises are immediately everyone's looking for the next one to monetize and suck as much money out of as possible and move on to the next thing. Like that's the negative way of looking at it. But this is, I would say, a positive viewing of the notion that nothing is sacred. I mean, we're talking about absurdism is what we are, really. And this is an absurd car.
It's
but I
like
think to the truest degree of the word.
it's like Disney making live action versions of their classic movies.
Yeah,
Hey,
they
you
could
shut
do
your
that.
mouth. They're
Yeah.
good. Some
But
of
this
them.
I'm not
is
saying
like-
they're bad. I'm just saying this.
Huh.
Nothing's sacred.
I kind of like that though because I can't help but feel like there's at the end of the day materialistic like stuff. It's materialistic stuff, bro. It's truly not that deep. There is someone out there who is, everything has to be pristine and everything has to be kept to the original form, and good for them. They're gonna do it,
Yeah.
but
We are living in a material world.
and you are a
Right.
material,
Material
girl.
Or guy or whatever.
We'll just leave it at that.
That was a good one.
That was great. A new year means new cars and some new old cars that we never got here in the U.S. that are now legal to import. It's that 25-year import law, baby. Let's talk about them. So up first is the Audi RS4 Avant, the wagon. So we missed out on a lot of wagons in the U.S. And in the case of the B5 Audi RS4 Avant, we missed out on the wagon and the top-of-the-line RS model. I did get to drive Job's S4 based on the same platform. I did break it.
It was his
It was the sedan.
turbo?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and we're going on, this is like in 2020 when he still had it, and we're going for a little canyon drive, and I think like the clutch cylinder like went out.
Oh my god.
So yeah.
Sounds fun.
Yeah. They're at the top, they're coming down.
Well, dude, it was badass actually, I broke it, and then we pulled over, and Job's like, seems like the thing's gone out. And then he's like, all right, you drive he had the money pit Miata, and is like, here, you drive home. And then he drove it back to Santa Monica from Mallet. Like we were up in the mountain, just in the middle of nowhere. And then he drove it back to Santa Monica. What do you call it? Shifting with no clutch?
Floating it, no?
He was
There you
floating
go.
gears
Got
all
it.
the way home. And we were taking PCH back.
Mhm.
And sometimes I can get a little congested. So just like floating the transmission in traffic, it was badass actually. It was really cool. And I was like, damn.
Yeah,
Zach
that
Job,
sounds
man.
badass.
Damn.
I didn't know Joe was so down like that.
He's very down like that. If he played
Down for
electric
whatever.
guitar, it would be over for all of us. He'd be the coolest dude in history.
Yeah,
That's your
I
bar.
can see
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
That's your bar.
He can
Can you
skate.
play
He
the-
can do kick flips.
Yeah.
He can weld.
This you can picture in your mind.
Yeah,
But you can't rotate cubes.
It's a different concept.
Yeah. Anyway, that was a cool time. So RS4 Avant, it's coming to the U.S.
I think that's
where you
one
can
worth
import it. Yeah, it's cool.
importing.
All right, up next, another car available to import, the Holden Ute SS.
Yeah.
Which Bart, this is all you, dude.
Why is that?
It's a modern El Camino,
Yeah.
basically.
Oh, because I went to El Camino College.
Yeah. Well, so,
Oh.
yeah. Well, you had that
I had
G-body
my
in your garage for a while.
associate's
So,
degree.
yeah.
Like I get the Ute
Mhm.
and I get Holden, but I do not romanticize about owning a modern El Camino.
A 2000s.
I would, in a heartbeat,
Mhm.
get an older El Camino. You know,
I could finally talk about this in an organic way. There's this car dealership.
Moving on.
There's this dealership in Santa Monica that specializes in like vintage cars.
Yeah.
And they're not like pristine.
Yeah.
They're just kind of like, oh, my uncle had this.
I know the shop
Yeah,
you're talking
yeah.
about. And they have the most eclectic cars out front.
Every 2
They
weeks,
all
something
look
different.
good.
Yeah.
They're all clean. None of them are, not that none of them, some of them, but most of them are not like
The ones that stay on the
Concours.
lot for a while and you're like,
Mhm.
go take a look at that.
Yeah.
It's been here for like a month.
Yeah.
They're not clean.
Yeah.
You know,
That's fair.
but there was an El Camino out front.
Mhm.
It was like the 80s vintage one. Just take a guess. Imagine
No.
in your mind's eye, imagine an 86 El Camino, you know, the one with like,
Yeah.
The square-
180 horsepower.
Yeah.
Max.
imagine the price that was on the windshield.
I don't want to.
Don't break my heart.
32?
Go up.
No.
14 grand, dude.
Oh, okay. I was thinking 32 grand.
Oh.
That's what I meant.
Oh, okay. I
You
was
were
like
like, I can't
3,200.
believe- right.
3,200 would be a very appropriate price.
Look, but 14 is like, I get there's
Bro.
nostalgia. How many miles?
That's all it
Yeah.
is nostalgia for
Yeah.
these things, man.
I remember growing up rural outside of Boston, Hopkinton, Massachusetts. It all starts here, 26.2 miles west of Boston. It's where the marathon started. But so that was the one thing that happened in that town once a year. The other great thing was it happened on a Monday. You'd go, everybody had the day off. You'd go to school on Tuesday and everybody had like new tracksuits because people would just throw them off. And then you'd be like, oh, like somebody found, I remember one year some kid got Jordans. We were like, no way. How do you, they did not fit him.
You had to grow
Anyway,
into them. Yeah.
Exactly. But that's beyond what we're talking about. I remember Mr. Colella, who used to own a farm, and then he owned Colella's grocery. He drove
Shouts out.
around in an El Camino, and I remember seeing that thing as a kid and being like,
Yeah.
like that thing looks so. You can put stuff in the back. What? Like my mind was blown, and somehow it looked cool. But anyways, I don't know that I'd want the modern.
Nah.
Well, and I think part of it is we didn't get, like, there's not like a lineage of it here.
Mhm.
Whereas I think in Australia, it's like,
They
you get
invented
to
it,
see
yeah.
an evolution of this
Yeah.
thing that happened. So it makes more sense visually, stylistically, spiritually. But I don't know that would it doesn't transfer for me. I don't know for whom it would here.
Yeah, I think there's maybe a reason that the El Camino didn't last as long as it did here,
Mhm.
Or, yeah. People always talk about like, hey, Chevy should bring back the El Camino.
Right.
I'm like,
They
I
shouldn't.
don't think they should.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I
Really? I
fear
don't
that
know.
if they were to bring it back, it would just ruin the romanticized
Yeah.
version of it in my head. And I love El Camino. El Camino is one of my dream cars though.
Mhm.
Really?
Kind of similar story, but instead of like someone that I actually knew, it was more of like I was a kid and my dad would like take me out and about because I was a fucking maniac. And we were just like walking around one day because I was screaming my head off. And I saw an all blacked out El Camino,
Mhm.
but on slicks.
Yeah.
Oh, I fell in love.
Yeah.
Ever since then, I've wanted one.
That's cool.
So, but I totally see that where it's like, we didn't see the evolution. So it's kind of like an absentee father. Like you're not attached to it.
There you go. Yeah, I think that's great.
Yeah.
Speaking from experience.
What?
Just kidding. I love you, Dad.
I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, my dad's very present also.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know. Maybe I might be too harsh on the El Camino. You guys seem.
I'm
to
not.
have a lot of
I
reverence
just.
for it.
I'm not. I don't have a. There's
Yeah.
no nostalgia for the new one for me.
Yeah.
You have no nostalgia for the old one. You're saying.
Actually, my parents had one when I was like a kid.
What?
Yeah, 80. I think it was 86, 82 or 86. It was silver. Yeah,
You think so? It conjures up lots of memories of crying in the back.
that was
seat.
actually the
Is-
first car I ever piloted. My dad
yeah?
had me in his like lap, and I was like
How are you the
driving.
last one to share an El Camino story? That's awesome.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that is a really good one.
And like, yeah. Anyway, it was, damn no.
I like how our stories are
We had this whole plan. We were
Yeah.
gonna maybe I have sour grapes about it. In high school, we like had the El Camino still. We had this plan to get like that Monte Carlo front end kit.
Yeah.
The front
Ooh.
clip.
Yeah.
We had like a Chevy 350 block in our garage that we're gonna anyway. Yeah. And then I think
It
like
just never happened.
it just never happened. The economy kind of tanked, and also I bought my Dart at the same time. So
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Damn.
I don't know. Now I'm like, damn, that would be kind of cool actually. I better go get 17 grand to pay for one.
Yeah.
On Lincoln.
That makes me
The
sad.
car was too boxy, so he couldn't picture it in his mind.
Yeah, he couldn't rotate.
Yeah.
Lotus Exige is one of the other cars you can import. If you want one of the 8 Americans who got their hands on an Exige in 2000, you can import these now as well. What do these look like? What do these look like, Audrey? Oh, that's
like a toy
cool.
car came to life.
That's
there are,
super
and
cool.
I don't know if it is more important to own that, but there are kits, and and that are bolt-on, and people are already effectively making their own.
So
wow.
cool.
So I don't know if this is one to get too excited about, but this is like if you're a purist Lotus guy, you'd have to get it.
I remember walking around downtown San Luis Obispo one evening when I was like 19 or 20, and there's another specialty like classic car shop as would be in San Luis, and they had a silver Exige in their showroom behind the glass, and I was just like, oh, that's cool. Yeah. Dang, I do like those Exiges. It either had a 177 or 190 horsepower 1.8 liter 4-cylinder engine. These things only weighed 1,700 pounds.
Damn.
Is it? Was it fiberglass or carbon fiber?
Probably fiberglass. Yeah. That's less than an EF Civic.
It is.
So that's pretty light.
Yeah.
I think probably rips on the track. On like a track.
You know what? My EF probably goes toe to toe with one of these things.
Oh, you think so? We should test that out.
I'd
Anyone who
love
has
to.
a
That'd be
Lotus
sick.
Exige, hit up Nolan.
Heck yeah. Oh, that's cool. Man, that yellow that Audrey showed us was nice. Okay.
Looks
I
crazy.
feel like this might be a hot take. I feel like if you have a car and it's yellow, it's a taxi. So congratulations.
Congrats everyone who owns
nice.
a
For those of you who
Lamborghini
don't know,
or
before
Ferrari.
Uber,
Oh,
we
yeah.
used to ride things called taxis.
I love a good taxi. From LAX, I skip the Uber line. The taxi line's always way
Yeah.
shorter.
That's so true.
At the LA exit, a convenient way to exit Los Angeles.
If you're not,
Yeah.
if you've never flown into LA, you
Hey,
won't.
man, I'm very LA joke centric this morning for some reason. Probably
So
'cause
I was
live
at the
here.
Ralph's the other day.
So I went to
And-
Erewhon. Yeah.
No, I have had people come visit and they were like, "Oh, I've always heard Jimmy Kimmel talk about Ralph's."
It's just Kroger.
And, but they're like, "Oh, Ralph's." Like
It's hilarious.
It suddenly registers.
It's
what
like
Jimmy
when I
Kimmel's
go
talking
east
about.
and hear or see a Hardee's. You know,
I haven't been to a Hardee's in a long time.
Isn't Hardee's Carl Jr.?
it is.
Oh,
Yeah.
What?
See,
Yeah.
exactly.
I don't know. I don't know the difference. I know there's. I
Yeah.
looked it up one time. I know there's one different.
Well, because I know that Carl Jr. has like burritos and stuff.
That's
well,
right.
that's
green-
green burrito,
Okay.
Green burrito.
which is part.
Excuse
that
me.
blew my mind when I was a kid when we
That
got
Carl's
a Carl's Jr. green burrito in our
Yeah.
area, and I was like, "It's 2 restaurants in one restaurant."
I remember it was like a road trip, and I was like, "All right, I'll get the burrito," and it was like, "This is the worst idea I've ever."
It's
just
very
they are
hit or
not
miss.
well rolled.
Very hit or
They-
miss. Sometimes
Maybe some are great.
Actually-
I've not messed with it since,
in
and that was like a long time ago.
I remember in college, I was working in this warehouse, and I would go for lunch at the Green Burrito pretty regularly.
Oh
I
my
got
gosh.
their chili verde burrito.
Okay,
Pretty good at the time, at least. I don't know.
I've never tried their green burrito, but I do like 2 restaurants in one. Like,
Yeah.
have you seen
Pizza
the
Hut, Taco Bell.
Yes. Oh, Pizza Hut Taco Bell is revolutionary.
Why not?
Ooh, or what about the Taco Bell KFC?
Sure. What about the KFC Pizza Hut?
Shut up.
I'm trying to think of like the
You
worst
can't picture it
possible
in his mind.
combo.
It's too bossy.
Yeah.
What about the
No, he can do this.
What
He can
about
do this one in
the
his
Long
mind.
John Silver's Hooters?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're reading my mind because I've been talking about
you,
wanting to
Clarence
go to
Thomas?
Hooters.
Yeah. You can rotate cubes too. Right here.
Good Lord.
All right. Finally, the Nissan Stagea 260 RS. So, if an R34 was too basic for you, how about an R34 wagon? That's right. The Stagea was based on the Skyline platform, and the top trim 260 RS model from 2000 was tuned by Autech and was based on the R34 GTR. Sean down at Toprank Imports if you see him, he will try to sell you one of these things. It's got the RB26. This thing's all-wheel drive, 0 to 60 in 5.7 seconds. I mean, and there are R34 conversion kits available. It looks, on their own, the Stagias are a bit rounder than the R34 GTR, but you can put the front clip on there. Man, what a cool car, regardless.
I think this is one of the people who are going to want this car are the people who have wanted it since 2000.
Yeah. These are sick.
If they don't own a Forester by now, they'll get this.
Yeah. Man, there's one, I went to was that our car show? Some Peterson event recently, and one of these was there. Sean might have brought it, actually, but it was just so cool. I love these things. Stagia.
They look great. I saw one just roaming around the streets in Ontario the other day.
Ontario?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, okay, hot boy. It sounded amazing. It looked great.
That's cool.
I would definitely want. It was silver. It's a classic color.
Yeah, it might be the one that I saw.
You think so?
From Ontario?
At the Peterson? That's a bit of a drive.
Yeah.
But for a car show, that would make sense. Was it really nice?
It was very nice.
There's got to be more than two.
Did it have like black wheels? I think the one I saw had black wheels. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Trying to figure out who this is.
It's absurd. This car is absurd. No. I would consider getting one of these, I think. At some point in my life.
Okay.
Maybe soon. Maybe not soon. Soon implies like soon.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think you should get one.
Bart, you have children.
Yeah.
Would you put your kids into a car that you imported like this?
It's a good question. I mean, if I imported it, I would have considered that. So probably, yeah.
That's a dope family car.
My friend Dimitri, we have our group chat, and sometimes I'll posit theories about what would be a good daily driver.
Yeah.
He's got like 3 kids.
Yeah.
And he's always talking about like
Dodge Magnum.
Yeah. He loves to shoot down daily driver ideas because it's like, oh, the trunk's not big enough.
Yeah.
You'll never put you could never get a stroller in there. Thank you. That was the word I was thinking of. You can see the cube turning in my head.
I thought I saw it.
No, you couldn't. Yeah. We can see it.
Yeah, we can rotate it.
Yeah.
Damn. Got my analogies mixed up. Stagia. Yes. I think of the ones we just mentioned, Stagia, I think would be my choice.
Good choice.
I think I'd like the Audi.
The Audi. Another wagon. Could put a stroller in that, probably.
Put a stroller in this, I bet.
Probably could.
Put the seats down, you put a whole drywall.
One whole drywall.
One whole drywall sheet.
One sheet of drywall. Just
do your house one sheet of drywall.
Just
at a
white
time,
powder in your car forever now.
Angle.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that would suck.
Yeah.
Like you don't have white powder in your car.
What the hell does that mean?
Those were the new old cars, the ones we can import. But which new car or cars, plural, are you guys most excited for this year in 2025?
You go first.
Okay, I'll go first. I am still excited about the Dodge Charger, both EV and Hurricane powered. I think it's an intriguing car. I would very much like to drive one and see how Dodge followed up. I would say one of the most iconic cars of the 2010s.
Yeah.
I think the Charger is, I think will be looked at back on very positively in like 10 or 15 years. And I think, I don't really think about new cars and like, oh, do I want
a new Charger going to be a 4-door?
Yes, you can get it in 2 or 4-door because the Challenge is no longer a thing. Yeah, it's interesting. So I don't know. I'd love to try both like a 2-door EV or a 4-door Hurricane or something like that. I just think it's a very interesting car, and I think it looks great too. I haven't seen one in person, but from pictures, I'm into it. So that's my most anticipated of this year.
I must say I do like when they give you the option of 2-door or 4-door. 4-door for more horse. But and also drywall. So that's a really good option.
Also drywall.
You'd have to cut it at Home Depot.
Yeah.
Crack it and slide it.
Yeah, you have to
it's all about getting the white powder.
Put it in a little plastic bag like Ben Shapiro did with his little 2x4. Put it in the back of your car. That's right.
I didn't see that, but that's pretty funny.
Bart.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna blame on the name. The Hyundai Ioniq 6N, I think is, because we were talking earlier and it's like, what cars are you excited about? And I have a tough time being excited about, like I was saying, it was like, oh, some of the best cars are cars that I can't like have.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's like, I'm never going to be able to use that car to do what it's designed to do.
Mm-hmm.
But
You
I
have
think
a very
this
practical
is a car.
approach to answering the question.
Yeah. Well, it's like, how do you get excited about it? And so I'm taking with, well, I think this is, Hyundai's doing really cool stuff. I know this is electric.
Mm-hmm.
Fine.
Mhm.
That said, but it looks like a super fun car.
Mm-hmm.
The design kind of reminds me of those 90s Audis. It's kind of beanish, which again, I don't know why, but something
It's
about that little, yes, yeah, it's like a legume.
I need to see this. I can envision
And
it.
then, and it's just, I also like that the
Oh.
yeah.
What?
Oh.
Yeah.
That
And
actually
it's,
doesn't look bad.
I know.
That's cool.
Right?
Yeah.
Um,
I'm into this, Bart. Nice poll.
Can
Thanks,
I try and
thanks. And
see
they'll give you
all
the-
around, please?
and it's just like their little, that performance color is just something about it.
Dude,
I just,
the Hyundai Blue is
yes.
is
Yeah.
peak, as the
Yeah.
kids say.
Yeah.
Dang, dude, that's pretty sick.
Okay.
It is very legume like.
That's a crazy shape.
That
for a
thing's
car.
sick.
But it stands from factory and look.
It looks
just
great.
feels, yeah.
Dang,
It
dude.
does look good.
Wow.
Thanks. I was worried about that. I thought you guys were going to beat me up.
Nah. Wow. Stephanie, your pick for most anticipated car of 2025 to lead off the year with.
I think what Bart was saying of like a practical approach kind of stuck with me, and I must say the Prelude.
Honda Prelude.
I love Preludes.
Yes.
I think the new version of it looks pretty. The looks are there.
It looks great.
It is also like a hybrid, so it is electric and all that. But for a commuter,
I was
for a
gonna say,
daily driver, it's
yeah.
stylish. It looks good, and
Yeah.
it's probably gonna be really good, like efficient wise, So
I've never liked the name Prelude.
It's
Why?
a strange name
Because
for
it
a
always
car.
feels like, to what?
A prelude to
Your
what?
next car? Like, it doesn't,
Right?
doesn't sound like good marketing.
Well,
to
Honda
me.
also has the Prologue.
Oh,
For
really?
their EV SUV.
Yeah. And then when in your twilight years, you'll get the
the
epilogue.
epilogue.
oh
Yeah.
my
yeah.
god,
Grandma died. She passed down the epilogue to you,
Mhm.
son.
It's haunted.
yeah. Yeah, Prelude looks really cool. I mean, already, like, we saw this at the LA Auto Show last year. Saw it in person, and I mean, it looked perfect. I think.
I like
in
cars
person,
that look
honestly.
like they're moving when they're parked.
Yeah, it looks
This
really
pulls
good.
that off.
that
Great use of the
is
single
good way
LED
to put it.
like light bar, the LED light bar on the back. Super cool. Still, I think looks like a Prius on the front end, but like that's not a bad thing because that's a great looking car, and so is this. So great choice, Steph.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was nervous because you guys were both very. It was like you came in with like a hot one, and then Bart came in with like a bug hot one.
A
So I was-
bug hot
It
one.
looks like a bug.
It's bug like.
Would you bring it? I also just want to give an honorable mention
Oh.
to the 2025 BRZ or
The BRZ.
86.
You were
BRZ.
on the BRZ, and now I need to see what
Yeah.
it looks like. Does it look like a regular BRZ?
No, well, ish, but it also kind of, to me, it looks like a baby Porsche.
Yeah, the side profile looks cool.
You don't like the 3/4.
I don't like the front.
Okay.
I don't know why for some reason that like the
Well, it's a different. It doesn't have
headlights?
like the up and out grill. It has
Yeah.
a down.
yeah.
The nose is coming down more.
I
It's,
think that's what is
It's smiling,
Mhm.
and then the FRS or the GT86 kind of frowns a little bit. It's like, oh. BRZ is like, hey. 86 is like, oh. Yeah.
Have you tried picturing the cube smiling or frowning?
One must imagine the cube smiling. Yes.
maybe that works.
That is our show, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening or watching, however you consume the show. Thank you very much. You can follow us at Donut Podcasts and our personal accounts. Bart,
You remember it today?
Bids Bardo.
Yeah.
At Bids Bardo on Instagram for Bart.
Thanks.
Steph.
At radical_stuff.
And you can follow me at Nolan J. Sykes on Instagram and Blue Sky as well if you'd like to. I'm trying to get that follower count up.
What is Blue Sky?
It's like Twitter,
It's
but
not
with
X.
Hmm?
It's not X. Like that's
It's
how
not
they
X.
define it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
If you go to their website, it says Blue Sky ... not X.
Yeah, not a lot of Nazis on that one. So that's good. That's
That might
preferable.
be good for a colored person like me.
Preferable, yeah. So anyway, thank you guys so much. It's a new year, baby. Leave us a review.
If it's good,
if it's good, or any criticism.
give us feedback.
Constructive criticism is honestly very appreciated. So leave us a review wherever you'd like. Big thanks to the crew. We got Edgar Grajeda, Audrey Holden, and Mark Schroeder over there. And that's it. See ya.